Welcome, listeners. This is our first GURPS podcast. We'll be playing 4th edition GURPS using the Magic 4th edition and Martial Arts 4th edition supplements. Our cast of characters today are myself as Solus, or aka Brand. Our main character will be Ater Dominus, played by...
Me, Lucas. I'll be playing Ater Dominus, as he said. He's pretty much a Dark Cleric. Enjoys smashing troll balls with his warhammer. Yeah.
Whoa!
I know, it's pretty amazing.
He didn't say.
All right. Next up, we got our semi-dwarf. Go ahead.
The true troll ball smasher. Fengrim Morhelm, played by Jason, or Ark, as you may know me. I'm an Arogat slaver of sorts, former ship captain, betrayed by those I once treated as allies. Now prancing around with this cult group.
I wouldn't really call him a captain. I mean, it was more of a rowboat, but I mean.
All right. Next up is our resident Pyromancer.
Yes, Ash, played by Drew, and yes, he is fire magey. And...
All right, moving on.
Yep.
And last up is our elf.
Yes, his name is Patrick Blownleaf, played by me, Clint.
Emphasis
He
on the
likes
blown.
to make everybody angry at him.
He's also good with a bow.
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Bow,
And-
not blow. Bow.
All right. To give a quick recap, this GURPS campaign has actually been going on for a couple of years now, and it is a more evil campaign-ish, not like, oh, we're just going to run and kill everyone, but more of a building an evil empire sort of campaign. And starting that off was Lucas's character, Ater Dominus, kind of created his own band of raiders and eventually picked up Ash, who became his fire mage. They eventually released a demon who became their patron, and later picked up Fengrim, who started their slave trade, and eventually found the elf.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Very, very profitable slave trade.
Allegedly.
You're welcome.
And then eventually their turncoat is Patrick Blownleaf, who used to be in a rival raiding group, but he wanted to get out before the people that overthrew his own raiding group killed him, and then that is where we are at. Important to note, in a recent campaign, Ater Dominus and Fengrim Morhelm went on a quest sent by their patron Mephistopheles to stop a vision that was given to Ater Dominus of a child rising up and striking down Ater. Eventually, it actually turned out that a demon trap dagger that Ater Dominus was wielding tricked Ater into stabbing the child in the heart, and therefore releasing the demon into this child vessel and creating this kind of a creepy demon child that kind of follows him around now.
Perfect.
Basically short.
Yeah, which is actually a short round. There you go. But it just kind of smiles creepily at things. Which brings us to the current part of the campaign called The Vessel, which actually has two meanings to it. So, all right, we'll get started. High up on the mountain trail that leads to the cult of Mephistopheles, Ater Dominus sits annoyed at his large oaken table that was recently stolen from a passing caravan.
Perfect.
He pored over raiding reports and began penning out orders on what new routes for his men to take and which areas to avoid, which was becoming more and more of a problem as late. Patrols on the road had more than doubled since last year, and had no small part due to his own increase in raiding and the impact it had had on the surrounding countryside.
We'll fix that.
All right. You stand up to stretch within your newly refurbished temple to Mephistopheles, and turning, you almost run over Thanatos the Necromancer and the demon vessel standing behind you.
Do that, creepy bastard.
Thanatos kind of just nods and says, "Sorry, Lord Dominus, but I have information you may be eager to hear."
Let's have it.
All right. The vessel has been speaking to me of late. To you.
What have you been doing to him?
Now, this is immediately interesting to you, as the vessel has not spoken a word to anyone since you jammed your demon trap dagger into his heart 6 months ago.
Dagger.
Alright.
Confirm the dagger.
Into the child?
It was a dagger.
I don't know if I can be part of this evilness.
Oh gosh, shut up. All right. The demon has... Oh, Thanatos nods and says, the demon has confirmed, as a long-standing suspicion of mine, that deep within the Forbidden Lands to the east there lies a forgotten relic that holds much power. So I want, Lucas, I want you to make an IQ check.
Yeah, I don't have any dice.
Oh my.
Go grab some dice.
Hang on.
GoogleRandom.org.
We'll just do this, sure. So it's 3d6, right?
Yep.
3d6. Do.
I'll roll for you.
I got it. Oh, we're good. 3d6. Right.
Oh my gosh.
This is how.
It's 7, so definitely below my IQ of 12.
Very well done, sir. All right. From your knowledge, the Forbidden Lands in centuries past was the source of many demonic invasions, nearly causing the ruination of the world as we know it. Hundreds of powerful druids and wizards had erected a barrier over the entire land after the main demon that was controlling these demons was banished from the material plane. No one has entered or left the barrier since that time. That is what you know of the Forbidden Lands. Okay. Thanatos continues. The artifact is said, and he kind of does a head check around to make sure you guys are alone. Besides, the demon child is just kind of staring at you. To offer the bearer of it the chance at eternal life. He coughed.
Fine.
Outside of becoming a zombie, that is, in case you're interested.
Got a great health plan.
Yeah, exactly. As you know, Thanatos.
But everything else.
Thanatos, as you know, is your necromancer, and he seems to be a little obsessed with making zombies out of people. But, that's normal. All right. Any response to that?
What? No.
All right. Then he'll continue.
Okay, yeah, just keep going.
The demon vessel says there's a catch. You must take him with you to the barrier where he says he can make a hole in the barrier that you can slip through.
Oh, yeah? Heard that one before.
It's actually how the last demon vessel child was accidentally brought to the cult.
Damn it. I really should have.
Lands, we call that slipping one past the polar bear.
Oh, God.
I don't even know what that. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Okay, I really should have worded this better. That's my fault. Ater, you know that. Just everyone knows that that's supposed to be impossible. The barrier is supposed to be this indestructible force. So the very fact that he can do this seems strange to you, but also, very intriguing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of interesting, I guess, if he really does have that kind of power there. I guess mine would be, can you give me an example of that power that he's supposedly having? Because I'm not going to drag along some sniveling, snot-nosed kid with a demon inside of him all the way there, and then come to find out, just kidding.
As you recall, there's been many occasions where you've been in a battle and he's been around, and he just kind of stands there, not doing anything, but you'll just look away for a second and kind of glance back, and there'll be like 4 or 5 dead people around him. You're never quite sure how it happens, but it happens really fast and it's really bloody. Like, I'm talking about body parts, not people, like parts. Just laying around him in a circle. Kind of like neatly arranged, so like all like legs are with legs and...
That's nice. Okay, so he's not a messy
He's
demon.
no. Quartermaster. He's all about efficiency.
Yes, he should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Thanatos, once you kind of know that, so you know he's got power. You just didn't know how much.
Right.
Thanatos continues, and the demon vessel hasn't said anything. Thanatos has been saying all this. He's just been sitting there quietly. That weird smile he always has.
Perfect.
And it says, first we must obtain a druidic artifact from the days of the barrier's construction. Supposedly one is located to the north on a hidden island, but that is all we know.
Oh.
Well, of any of you that really know me, I mean, I guess I just kind of jumped straight into it. I'm like, okay, well then I guess we're going north, kind of thing.
That's true, leader.
That's not really much else to really discuss in that area of things. It's like, well, okay, so we have to get that, and we have to go to the barrier. So, I don't know about. I don't really know. I mean, I guess that's kind of the way that things are going to go. So.
All right. So you'd like to maybe gather your quote-unquote lieutenants together, or?
Yeah, I'd kind of like to, while I'm away, of course, the rumpus can't end. So, I mean, I want those of my legions to go start wreaking havoc, I guess, on the roads again.
Yeah.
Let's double it, though, from what they've been normally doing. And,
ooh, excellent.
instead of just taking things, start killing people. So,
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
Fengrim has a suggestion.
Fengrim is not here. He will come in soon.
Oh, I thought he went to his lieutenants. I apologize.
No, you
Fengrim
are.
apologizes.
Sorry, I didn't get to that point yet. Fengrim is on his way towards the cult stronghold. He will be here shortly, and then you will have other things known for you coming soon.
Well, I guess I'll gather my posse and kind of throw some ideas around and see what we should really do here.
I mean, do you gather them, or do you send a peon to go gather them for you?
Well, of course I send the peon to go get them. I mean, really.
Okay. A few minutes later, Ash enters, and quickly followed by Patrick, the elf, and notice Fengrim isn't back from his trip north yet. So you guys kind of just enter, and you see Thanatos standing there with the demonic vessel and Ater.
Like, have a seat, guys. Have a seat. No, not
Yes.
there. Not there. That's my chair.
Oh, okay.
No, you can't sit there
Permission to
either.
shoot this demon child?
That's Thanatos' zombies. They sit there. You know what? Better yet, just sit on the floor. It'll be fine.
Okay. I'm old.
You are not old. You're like 28.
Oh, that's right.
I'm an elf. I'll just
The
hurt.
table is wood, so I really, why don't you can just wait outside, Ash? It'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Outside. I don't need you burning down my whole temple.
Okay.
Anyways, I guess you could tell them what's going on, or just not tell them anything and tell them you're coming with you.
Well, they don't really have much of a choice either way, so I guess I'll just tell them. Yeah. So, guys, I guess this is what's going on. We pretty much, the demon spawn over here said that we need to pretty much go to this place and do this thing. So we're gonna go do it.
Cool.
Sounds great.
I'm in.
All right.
But first, we got to go somewhere else to do something else. So
Oh, even better.
just
Perfectly
throw
vague.
that out there. There's this thing we got to get to use in this other place we're going to do the thing that we're going there to do.
All right.
So what does he give us? I mean, what do we get out of this?
Why do you greedy bastard?
By the way,
Yes, I
little
am greedy.
bit
You
of
don't
backstory for everyone else. A little bit of backstory. The first time that Clint's character Patrick joined, Ater Dominus let the necromancer torture him for a while.
It was great. It was just great.
Just kind of an idea of how things go around here. All right, continue, guys.
Real fast, I just want to make a note about how my day has been going. I just went to go grab something and put my 3 dice in my pocket. They immediately scattered across my wooden floor to all of the edges of the room because there's a giant hole in the fucking bottom of my pocket.
Yes.
Continue, please.
Yes. Okay. So, gathering up your... Unless you want to actually keep talking, Clint, you had a question for him?
I just want to know what we're after. I mean, is it worth our while?
You're. I mean, come on. We're all wearing headsets. Don't be a douche.
But my character would not know this yet.
So I'll quickly explain.
You want to tell him that it can grant eternal life?
Not that part.
Okay. Sounds good.
Dang it.
All
My
right.
character's going to ask who got the eternal life.
Just
We know
remember
the answer to that one.
Witherlem. Just remember Witherlem.
Yes, he has a spell called Witherlimb. That is awful. Anyways, so you guys gather up, and as you're heading out of the temple, kind of discussing how you guys are going to get there and what you're going to bring, the gates swing open, and in rolls a wagon carting a bunch of goods, and riding that cart is Fengrim Morhelm, the Arogat dwarf.
Who's that?
That's my buddy. He's helping me and further my business endeavors.
Yes.
Ah.
Can I
Yes.
shoot with an arrow?
So,
No, Clint. No, you can't.
Can I roll against my fire to burn Clint for that comment?
you may.
Okay. I
will
rolled a
just cross
12.
my- stand there.
You made
pleasantly.
it. You made
Oh.
it, Drew. You don't have to burn him. I believe Drew's character has both sadistic and pyromaniac, which can cause issues. Yeah, sadism and pyromania. That's a really bad combination.
Or a really good one.
So what Ater Dominus obviously knows as much as Fengrim would be willing to tell him about himself. For Ash and Patrick, you guys know enough that there's been a sort of a slave trade / black market good trade that a previously unmet dwarf has been busy doing in the last 6 months. Like, he hardly even stops in except for enough time to drop off stuff, grab some food, and head off and make more money elsewhere. Which is why the last time you guys were busy, he was off doing business elsewhere. And he is
apparently remote killing people with random text messages.
yes, that was pretty great. The text message kill was pretty awesome. So Fengrim comes in, and he bears news from the north that the roads have been clogged with patrols. But the construction at the small and shady port town of Scapel are nearly complete. The cult will soon have its very own naval warship within a few weeks.
Nice.
Which is perfect timing, since you need a ship.
Oh my god, yes.
Wait, is this an actual ship or is this like a dinghy, like a rowboat?
Fengrim did good.
Fengrim did good.
Fengrim rolled very well for this.
Yes, you guys are all talking at once. So
No, we're not.
But I do
never-
think I got to take my ship, captaining skills better.
Yeah, which you won't have to worry about the ship captaining this for this round of playtime. So luckily,
Okay.
you should be able to spend some points next time around and buff up your
Spoiler!
skills. Spoiler alert! Anyways,
Whooped a little.
so this is perfect timing as you need a ship to find this island,
Perfect.
and the demon vessel seems to have known this and smiles even wider.
Right. Hey, I do have a question. Do we have map locations to these places, or are we just supposed to trust this little puke of a kid to tell us where we're going?
Well, you know where the port town is of Scapel.
Okay.
You know it, and especially Fengrim knows where it's at, because this is where he's been coming from and working the last 2 months. He's been working on this.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
The kid has one of those really shitty Waterworld tattoos.
Oh.
Huge rider. Fuck it, it's a circle.
Yes.
So now you have news from the patrols, and Fengrim if you want to let him in on what's going on, kind of. I mean, you don't have to actually say it, but you can let him in on what's going on. And
Yeah, I'll do that. That'd probably be the best course of action here, so that way he's not just like, oh, hey, we're leaving now, let's go.
He's like, damn it, I just came from there. So you guys may take up with you up to, you feel it safe and smart to not bring too huge of a group. So you can bring up to 4 cultists, any mix of range or melee, wagons and horses, or a wagon and horses if you'd wish.
I'm thinking, I don't know, let's get some input from the rest of the party here. I'm thinking more of 4 ranged,
Why, you don't think I'm
cultists,
good
if
enough?
anything, so. Judging from our last battles,
Encounter, I saved your life multiple times.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, is the ranged characters seem to be the ones that can do the majority, and plus
None
that
of them
way...
are going to be as good as me.
You have to realize that Clint's character is a bit more heroic. Patrick, he was trained by a bow master from when he was like 4.
These guys are expendable, so I can send them into an ambush, though.
Expendable fodder.
Yeah.
That's kind of my plan, is to make us look bigger than we are with the ranged as far as...
If you want to do range, that's fine. That just leaves...
one of them is bound to hit something.
Yeah. That leaves basically you tanking. Fengrim can do that, but he's kind of a short, mid-range kind of character.
Whoa,
I mean, mostly
short.
You're a dwarf. Oh, my bad, Arogat.
Fengrim is best at 2 hexes away,
Yeah.
but can go to 4.
Yes. It's pretty useful, which, to those who don't know what a hex is, it's a yard, so it's pretty good range.
Sorry. Yes.
So I mean, you could bring 4 range guys, that's absolutely fine. They'll be shooting about...
3 feet if you're American.
Yeah. Uh-oh, we just lost half of our 2 viewers. So yeah, you can bring the 4 range guys. They'll, as bow kind of works for them, since they don't really have great skills, they'll be shooting about once every 3 turns.
Oh, well.
Which is still fine. I mean, they're back there, and a mace guy will be, attacking every turn once he's in close combat.
Well,
so up to you. I'm fine.
We're not for want of blunt damage. Let me put it that way. What would be useful, perhaps, is a shield with either decent impaling, not just like a sword can impale. But I don't want to meta it too much, so go ahead and just do whatever.
Okay, we'll give them sharp, pointy sticks.
I don't think there's a better name for that weapon.
I can't imagine what that would be called. So you want to bring some...
Would maybe like to bring his personal valet.
Oh, your lizardman?
That is a legitimate thing, yeah.
You do have him. He's on the wagon with you, actually.
Does he count against our 4?
You know what? I'll give him to you for an extra.
Yes.
Do you have a name for him?
I don't.
All right. We'll just call him Lizardman Valet for now.
So we'll go with pikemen. How's that? Is that impale enough?
Yeah, you can do pikemen if you want to.
I'm saying, 1 or maybe 2, and then the rest bows or whatever.
Nope. 4. We send them in first, charging and screaming.
Oh, that's fair.
All right, 4 times pikemen. Sounds good. All right. So do you want to? You're guessing you want to bring a wagon, or?
Well, for us, the cultists can walk.
Okay, and horses?
No, the cultists. They're pulling it.
No. Oh gosh.
No. Yes, we'll take horses. Yes.
Okay.
And of course the cultists will ride with us because I don't want them to die before we get there.
Does the Arogat
charge in?
Yeah. Does the Arogat want to ride on the wagon, or does he want a pony?
Or I kind of want a pony. I'm also okay with the wagon.
So what do you want to do?
Wagon's fine.
All right. So the wagon will be.
I don't want to be special.
Horses.
You can have a pony. It's fine.
Now remember, the only one of you that's trained combat-wise on a horse is Patrick.
Of course.
The rest of you will have severe disadvantage fighting horseback.
Yeah. The rest of us have points in useful places. A good thing we brought a knight with us.
Yes. Okay, so we have. All right, that sounds good. You guys stock up on, food and get your 4 cultists picked out and your fodder. The Lizardman valet packs up Fengrim's goodies and takes a seat up on the wagon with him, and you guys are ready to head out.
Sweet, and so
he's got a little green visor or something like that.
Yeah. Do you want to leave Sezik, the half demon, in charge, or do you want to leave Thanatos in charge?
We'll leave Thanatos in charge, just as long as he doesn't turn everybody to the living dead. That's
number
cool,
one.
But...
do not.
do not kill everybody and turn them into zombies. All right.
It's pretty neat, but it's not really what I'm going for here.
He sounds a little saddened by your order, but he agrees. But the vessel is coming with you, by the way. He's in the back of the wagon, just kind of sitting there,
Fantastic.
kind of kicking his feet, like kind of childlike, which makes it even creepier.
Okay, the lizardman's name is Gokslot.
Gokslot?
Basically, yes.
Gokslot.
Goqzlat.
I'll call him Fred.
It's legit, because I got it off this random generator of names.
Excellent. Gokslot. Gokslot. Okay.
Cockslob?
No.
Cockslut is
Cockslut. There we go.
Picked up on that before.
All right. So you guys in Cockslut all head out to the north. Just kind of give you a quick picture as you look back over your shoulder towards the stronghold that you've built. It's supporting 15-foot stone walls now. The temple itself has added a whole new floor to it on top of the original T-shaped design. You now have currently a group of miners that are blowing dynamite up and digging into the earth to try to create a path from the mountain, and down to where you're planning on building a hidden harbor next to the mountain and the coast.
Perfect.
Which will be great for when you guys have ships.
Yeah.
You're running about 50 to 60 cultists and about 20 to 25 undead at the moment.
Okay.
So a pretty good sized little group of cultists that it can cause some trouble. And you've got 2 mages that are under the care of Ash right now. Both are complete noobs and have set themselves on fire more than anything else.
God.
Well, so Ash says.
Yeah. You don't tell anybody about this.
So they're coming along swimmingly then.
Yes.
According to him. They're doing great.
You also have your group of a group of small hunters that kind of do all your tracking and stuff like that. Okay. So you guys heading north along the road. Set it off early in the morning. The road that heads north to Scapel, eventually will veer off in 2 different directions. One heading east around the top of the mountains to the east, and one heading left towards the large port town of Arrenton. But there's also a small trail that will lead to the smaller and shadier port town of Scapel.
Okay.
So as you guys walk along, to the left is the forest that you came through from your hidden mountain path and onto the main road. Day goes by, and as night starts to fall, ahead of you, you see a group of what looks like a patrol coming your way. They will spot the caravan at any moment.
All right, so I guess.
Can I get to high ground as backup?
What do you mean by high ground?
Well, no. Can I get off the road at least so they? What kind of road are we on? Is it treed?
Yeah. So imagine it's kind of an inclined road, like almost like there's a dip on both sides that goes into a small ditch. Not a ditch big enough to really hide in, but big enough to fall down and break your ankle if you're not careful. To your left, about 15 yards, is a tree line where there's a bunch of trees, and on your right is just open plain.
Do I have enough time to make it to the tree line?
Yeah, you can totally try to duck off and go check it out and see if you can make it.
What do you say, fearless leader?
Well, that's what I was going to say is those that want to disembark now would be probably a good time. I was going to have the cultists jump out also and make it to the tree line just to get out of there because I would like to pass this group of guys without actually doing anything.
Okay.
I didn't think
we're early on
go to
in the
crap. I might be better surprising them.
Oh no, and that's exactly right. That's why I'm wanting everybody to kind of get out and just have it me and the boy. Not sound gross or anything, but I can play off as like his caretaker.
So you want to be all by yourself with the demon
He's gonna
child,
Smokey the Bandit.
and not. So you don't want the Arogat or the Lizardman or Ash.
Well, the Lizardman's going to draw attention right off the bat.
They might. Yeah, that's true.
They were like, "What the hell is that?"
I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious. Could you do a quick perception check for me, or let's do an IQ check, Lucas?
Yep. 10.
Okay. You are wise enough to realize one thing. They aren't that far away, so if they see a group of 9 people running off into the forest,
No, they won't miss.
it may draw some attention. Just a heads up on that point.
Okay, well then, scratch my original plan. We'll have Ash run off though, because he's or not Ash, Patrick, and just play as just a band of travelers going to the next town or whatever it may be.
So Clint, you wanted to run off though, so
Yes.
okay. So Clint will kind of duck off the side of the road, or Patrick will, not Clint, because
I would have a hard time doing that.
what is that guy doing? Patrick kind of jumps off and stays low to the ground and runs off into the trees. A few minutes later, or not even a few minutes, like half a minute later, the patrol kind of heads down. They're all on foot. It looks like there's 10 men, led by a man in some more resplendent armor than the rest.
Okay.
Just from a quick check around, Ater, just eyeing the battlefield, you notice 3 of the ones in the back are wielding some long bows. 6 of the men are wielding a sword and a shield. And the main guy, what looks like to be their leader, is wielding a very large 2-handed sword. With them, they seem to have a prisoner. It's a ragged-looking man with long gray hair, but you can tell he has very thick, corded muscles. Like, he's just very cut, and he's wearing some old, beat-up leather armor.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Did we go over the Ater Dominus special rules as far as the Dominus crown at all?
I sent you an email.
Yeah, I have it. I
Okay.
have it open right here. I didn't know if that had happened yet. Like,
No.
do I have this?
Yes, I guess I should. This would be a good time to tell you guys all the stuff you got. This time around, you all got 2 items. I rolled for both the slave and black market trade profits, and I rolled for the raiding profits from Ater Dominus. Both of them rolled very well. So you guys were awarded 2 special items apiece. For Ater Dominus, that was he got a balanced smithing done to his warhammer to lower the requirements for him to swing it every turn. So now he can cast a very light might spell that makes him stronger and actually swing that bad boy every turn, assuming it doesn't get stuck in an enemy.
What's the chances of that?
Well, you have pretty good strength, so it's actually pretty low. That's good. And he also got with him something called the Dominus Helm, which allows him to cast Death Vision from it onto an enemy. And Death Vision, assuming they make a failed will roll, stuns an enemy, basically, until they make their roll. It shows them a vision of their own death, which could be either in this realm or another. It could be soon, it could be far away, but it's an actual vision of them dying in some form, which is frightening, which is cool. The Fengrim got a ice enchantment on his meteor hammer, which is a 2-handed chain, kind of Kasirigama, but with like blunt.
It's 2 balls with a chain in between.
Yes. So an ice
The
enchantment.
old balls and chain.
Yes. Balls and
Careful, you're joining the ranks.
Yeah, you'll be there soon. And what he got is an ice enchantment on that, which at the moment adds +2 damage to any that gets through armor, but later it could turn into something cooler like a freeze effect or something like that. But at the moment, he also ended up getting wind bracers that he can call upon the power of to knock enemies back in a small area and or possibly knock them down as well. Which could be very handy in a tight spot. Ash, he got the ability to summon a hellhound from the realm of Mephistopheles. This animal it's a young hellhound, but it's still a powerful beast that is loyal to him, assuming he doesn't absolutely botch his spell casting.
Dang it. I'll practice right now.
This hellhound has, some cool abilities and will follow the orders of Ash and Ash alone. He also ended up getting a staff that adds to all of his spell attacks, so his actual chance to hit with his spells. And Patrick got a nice little quiver full of special arrows, including fire arrows, smoke bomb arrows, knockdown arrows, one explosive arrow, and then one arrow that completely ignores armor. And he also got a pair of boots that allow him to spend 2 fatigue points to leap 15 feet up into the air to get high ground or jump over something or possibly break his ankles.
Think of a spring-heeled jack.
Critical miss.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for it.
Think of a spring-heeled jack from Morhelm.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. As the group comes up, you hear the lieutenant call out, "Halt! By the order of the capital city, Sharoon, you must cease and allow for search and seizure."
I will use the Death Vision crown on him inconspicuously. Hopefully inconspicuously. It would be nice to just use it without him knowing that I'm doing it.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Just
like, here I am.
It is just a helm thing. Like you could just kind of like touch your helm, like maybe you're just like wiping away sweat or something. Yeah. And
like a Saturday morning cartoon, like bad guy though, and just be like, "Witness now your own demise." And the rest of us go Cobra, and then we attack.
Yeah, go Cobra. Is that what you said?
Yeah, just yell Cobra.
Cobra. Okay. As you are kind of like reaching up to ignite the crown, you hear the prisoner kind of grin and say, "You guys don't know what you're getting into." The lieutenant steps up to the man and backhands him so hard that he tumbles into a nearby ditch. He says, "Shut it, slime. We'll deal with your unlawful acts later."
So my idea then, if that is the case, would be not only to do that, but also to have Fengrim do his blowy over thing.
Well, he's a little ways away.
Oh, okay.
You guys aren't quite enough.
You're like, stop damaging the goods. I have to roll for temper in a minute here.
Yeah.
I was hoping to overcome them with fear. Not only would their lieutenant be completely like, "Oh my gosh, we're all gonna die," but then all of the guys would all get blown over, and so they'd all be like, "Oh, we got to get out of here."
You may use your Dominus crown now as he turns to talk to you, if you would like.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, though, just so you know, I only have a 2-yard range on my bracers.
So you can't blow that far.
No. I can, however, reach out and torch someone with my my balls of fury.
Yes.
Fairly accurately.
Well, I'm trying not to engage us in a combat. I'm trying. I want to instill like a complete fear upon all of them, or that's
and then blow them away.
All right. So
and blow them all.
You need to give me a signal to scare them with an arrow.
Go ahead and roll 3d6 for me, Lucas.
10.
Okay. And So you cast Death Vision on the man, and he kind of shakes his head and like looks around a bit, and his eyes kind of widen, and then he shakes it away and looks at you like furiously and says, "Kill them!"